JPU family, breaking news. You are looking at the vehicle of Councillor Garfield James in Western Westmoreland. According to the reports, Garfield James and his team were out campaigning, and just before they got back to their vehicles, this happened. Somebody vandalized, lick out the car glass, and this is the result you're looking at right here. Guys, when we talk about the dirty style of politics and people learning to control themselves and allowing democratic process to work, this is what we mean. Oftentimes, it is the leaders who sets the tone for the kind of campaign and politics they want to run. This is why, guys, I came out and said something when I heard the way that some of these people were sitting on TikTok, bringing down each other, and said them a campaign manager and this and that. This is not good enough. And the question that I want to ask in light of all of this, if the MP, the sitting MP, Moreland Wilson, was winning and in favor of the people, why would he and his supporters resort to something like this? Based on reports on the ground earlier, it was a good day for the candidates and campaigning. How did it get to this?
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to use that introduction there to start my video because I want to use the opportunity once again to welcome all Jamaicans home and abroad to the Lenny Robbins YouTube channel. Know your politics. Let's come together to create a better understanding by listening to what your politicians say so we can better watch what they do. Now, I've been saying this from a very long time. Even before I launch this YouTube channel, that the politics in Jamaica is getting worse as time goes by. It is getting worse, and I mean, politics on a whole right across the world is getting worse. Politics is really getting worse. It's demeaning, it's degrading, and it is really as settled in the gutter right now as it is. I must admit that the politics across the world are settled in the gutter. But so far as a Jamaican, I really want to address the situation in Jamaica because I've been speaking about that situation in Jamaica for quite some time now. And time again it has shown where this ugly head and make it very, very obvious to us as ordinary Jamaicans that the politics of the day is in the gutter. It's in the gutter, and that's where it is, and that's where it's going to be. Now, that opening recording that I started out with was an incident over in Westmoreland where, you know, they were having campaign going on in Westmoreland. And the vehicle of one candidate, they parked their vehicle, understand, came back, went to, take a walk through the community, did some campaign, and the JLP candidate, Dr. Garfield James, his vehicle was vandalized, or that tap was vandalized. They hit out the window of the car. Yeah. Somebody break out one of his car glass. Now, let us ask ourselves the question. Why would someone think to do this? Whether it is a PMP person does it or just an average person who has nothing to do with politics, but why would someone think to do this? And feel confident they can do it, feel confident they'll get away with it, feel confident it is the right thing to do. And this is something that I've been pointing out for years. Like I said, for years. Because I could never understand the orange and green shirt thing and the difference and the divide in the politics. I could never understand it. I could never understand. And I can never understand why PNP can speak about JLP without demeaning the JLP, or putting down the JLP, cursing out the JLP, or why the JLP can speak about the PNP without demeaning them, without putting them down, without cursing them out. I can't understand why. We came through a period in the 1980s. And I can tell you guys, if we go back there, it's going to be worse than the 1980s. Because guess what? The kind of guns that is available now were not available back in the 1980s. And being that our politics is already in the gutter, they're politicians themselves. Well, all these guys who are dressed up in them fancy $1,000 suits and fancy talk and highfalutin big words and all of these things when they're doing their presentation and making all sort of eloquent speeches. Behind all of that, ladies and gentlemen, we need to stop, look and listen, because behind all of that fanciness, all of that fancy talk, all of that fancy dress code, look at where these people are taking where they have taken the politics. Look at where the politics are descended to under their stewardship. Because this attack on this gentleman's car, how far is that away from physical injury to his person? How far away from a physical attack this is? If you can vandalize my car, then what's going to stop you from thinking that you can physically attack me and injure me or kill me or do whatever you want to do, maim me or something? There's nothing to stop you from thinking that. Absolutely nothing. I want to use this opportunity once again to appeal to all Jamaicans home and abroad. We need to do everything to really, really cut the crap out of this politics. And PNP and JLP, you guys need to get to that green shirt. You need to get to that green shirt and the color symbol and the orange shirt and all of this crap. The hurt, the divisiveness is far greater now than what it is before. I'm telling you. If you want to know how great it is, just listen to people talk about each other. Listen to JLP talk about PNP and PNP talks about JLP. And you tell me if these are the people we really need to lead us into any level of social. Can these people really lead us to any level of social economic development? Where can these people take the country that we can be comfortable? We have been struggling about growth, about development, about quality of life from the last 50 years. We have been talking about that as people. We have been complaining. We have been crying. We have been begging for a better quality of life for 50 damn years. Thousands have lost their lives because of this whole politics thing for no reason at all. And what do? We continue to fight the same old battle. We continue to fight the same old battle and the same old strategy and the same old tactics. Now the other definition for stupidity, I don't know if I'm going to get it right, but say if you keep doing the same thing and expecting and getting the same result and you keep doing the same thing over and over, then at some point it becomes stupidity. You understand? Because you can't be doing the same thing and expect it to change when you're getting the same result. It becomes stupidity. Now, if that's a true meaning or true representation of stupidity, let us be honest. Aren't we really stupid as people, as voters? Aren't we stupid as voters if this is real stupid? If this is really what it is? Aren't we stupid? You know, when I look into this attack on this gentleman's car, and I know it's going to get worse. I know it's going to get worse. Because these are how things start. These are how things start. Small. And snowball itself into something big that no one can stop. To an avalanche of incidents and attacks upon each other. Political supporters, even the very representatives themselves are attacking each other in such a verbal and crucial way that what it does, they themselves not inflicting the injury or the physical hurt and persons or property. You understand? But that attack is transferred to their supporters, who now became emboldened and think it's okay to do it. And even parties themselves, members of each parties, have no problem, no problem to quarrel with each other. Party insiders can't even settle their own differences in a reasonable way. Both JLP and PMP. The party insiders at loggerheads over issue and they cannot settle it amongst themselves. Peacefully, quietly, successfully. And yet these are the same very two parties that are selling themselves to the nation as parties that can lead us successfully to a better quality of life. Now, I want to throw this out there also. Like I said, I don't care who want to get into the politics talking about Andrew Holness, this and quote your figures and your statistics and all that. That's fine. Go right ahead with that. I'm just trying to make common sense of what is happening, really. Because I'm not ready for the deep dive into the politics as yet. I'm just trying to stay on the fringes and make some common sense of what is happening. If these two parties claim themselves to be great for Jamaica, PMP says they are great for Jamaica, and they're better for Jamaica than the JLP. The JLP is better for Jamaica than the PMP. Let us ask a question. Let us ask ourselves this question as supporters of both political parties. When we talk about better, this is the operative word in their statement or their vision. Better, best. Isn't the word better subjective? It is relative and subjective at the same time. Better relative to what? Better subjective to what? Let us ask our question. And how many of these political parties, when they're in power, have met the criteria of this relativeness or the subjectiveness? How many of them have met it? They tell you outside of politics that they can do it. And when they get there, what is their better subjective to or relative to? They themselves can't even identify it. I want to take people's back. I know a lot of people coming up in politics now are younger generation in politics. I want to take you back to Michael Mann, the time when D.K. Duncan first got into politics. When I say got into politics, I mean in representational politics. When he first won and got into representational politics, D.K. Duncan made the statement. The biggest lesson he learned about politics, that when you're outside of politics, you can say all kind of shit you want. You can promise all you want to promise people. But when you get inside of politics, the demand on you is different from the promises you're making outside. The demand is different from the promises that you made outside before you get into politics. Now that's something from D.K. Duncan. I never forget that. And that was front page Gleaner publication. Front page Gleaner publication at the time. I remember leaving from Old Harbour to Kingston. I was sat in the minibus with the Gleaner in man reading the front page news, and I'm saying, wow. And I can tell exactly where I was. I was in the minibus going into Kingston, downtown, King Street. I was just about getting up to the 3 Mile roundabout. That time it was a roundabout. There was no overhead and underpass and all of them things. It was a roundabout. And on your right hand side where Mussins is, there's the agricultural market beside it. I was exactly right across from the agricultural market when I was reading it in the minibus. What you promise outside of politics is not what you deliver when you get inside of politics. That's what he was saying. And that's his biggest takeaway from politics. So once again, I want to use this opportunity to appeal to Jamaicans and remember, please bear in mind, what they're telling you on the outside is not what they will deliver when they get there. And that has been happening right all along. It doesn't change with PMP, it doesn't change with JLP. The promise is to get you to vote, to capture your votes. The deliverance and the governance they give to the country is for them to look good. And for you to keep hoping for better. Because that's where they leave you. And leave us, the ordinary citizens of the country. We keep hoping for better because so far, and I've listened to the Neville Willoughby and the Ralston Isleman TVJ quick chat they had about the Miss Favour Williams presentation of the budget. You understand? But this budget in itself is, for me, is still a trickle-down budget. It's still a trickle-down budget. It's a trickle-down budget where people at the bottom, listen man, you're not feeling the budget. Even if the economy grows by a 5%, you understand? And even if we have economic growth each quarter for the rest of the year, the man at the bottom wrong, the people at the bottom doesn't feel it because by the time it gets to you, that percentage of growth doesn't reach you. God bless if you get even 0.01% of that growth. You benefit from 0.01% of that growth. It's a trickle-down economy still in Jamaica. And trickle-down economy is based upon promises. Promises made outside of governance. Promises made on the campaign trail. Promises made to capture your attention. Promises made for you to feel good. Promises made as smoke screen. Because when they get into that chair to lead the nation, what they promise is not what they are delivering. And politicians know this very well. Politicians know that very well. Ladies and gentlemen, I had to say that because of that incident in Westmoreland. Our politics has gone to the gutter and we really need to take a firm stance and because it's going to affect us more. It's more detrimental to us than it is to the very politician who seeks our vote, who seeks to make representation on our behalf in Parliament. So we have to make sure that we are playing our role. And for us to play our role, it is important to get to know your politics. It is important, and I'm begging and I'm saying this, well, I'm really not begging. But I won't stop saying it. I'm going to be honest, I'm not begging anyone to do this. Because the culture and the mindset of people are so brainwashed already to believe that anything the PNP says is gospel, or anything the JLP says is gospel. So it's going to be difficult. You understand? It will be difficult to debrief these people way of thinking. To debrief their mindset, to understand that what PNP promised you outside on the political campaign trail is not what they're going to deliver. What JLP promised you on the outside is not what they're going to deliver when they get inside. DK Duncan was the only one honest enough to make that confession. DK Duncan is the only one honest enough, because he was very outspoken. But he was honest enough to make that confession. And that's the biggest drawback to politics for him. Biggest. Ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to the Lenny Robbins YouTube channel. Let's get to know our politics. Come together to create a better understanding for each other. I don't know it all. I'm on the fringe of politics. I'm not into the meat of politics like some other YouTube bloggers who can tell you what is happening here and what is happening there, and the Prime Minister did this and the JLP this and the PNP this. No, I'm not getting into that, because I'm not feeding into the divisiveness of politics. Because the minute you sit down to discuss politics with someone, the minute you decide to discuss politics with someone, if they don't label you as a Labourite or a PNP, or you don't each other begin to label each other as supporting opposite party, or at loggerheads are with a fool or a idiot or support criminal corruption and all of these things, that's not a discussion for most people in Jamaica. And I don't want to get into that. I just want to make common sense of what is happening for people on the ground to understand. You don't need to go to no political science class to understand these things. Basic things. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Lenny Robbins YouTube channel. Let's come together to know your politics. Let us create a better understanding for each other. Like I said, none of us know it all. Stop and listen to what the politicians are saying. So in effect, we can better watch what they do, because it's important. It is critical. It's an integral part of the governance that we get from government to watch. Or by watching what they do, it's an integral part of the governance we get from government. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Lenny Robbins out.